A real quick video here on how to find x and y intercepts of linear equations. This is sort of a alternative option on how to graph linear equations. You might actually find that it's a little bit easier to do this method rather than getting equations into y equals mx plus b format. But first and foremost, let's talk about what an x and a y-intercept are. I'll show you how to find them, and I'll also show you how to graph with them. So first and foremost, I'm looking at a graph or a linear equation here that's in the correct format. And when I say correct format, it's in that nice y equals mx plus b format where m is our slope, goes up 1, right 2, and our y-intercept is -3. So right there you can see that your y-intercept is -3. Alright, and that's why it's down here. That's where the graph crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis, the up and down one. The x-axis is over here. Alright, to figure out this, it doesn't seem so evident. My claim is that it's at 6, 0, and I'm going to show you in a second how to get that from this equation, or any equation really. So just quickly again, this is where the x-intercept is. It's where the graph crosses the x-axis, and this is where the y-intercept is. It's where the graph crosses the y-axis. And of course, the y-intercepts are a little bit more familiar to us. Let's get into a couple examples here. You'll notice that this one is not even close to y equals mx plus b format, but I'm not going to get it into that format for this lesson. What I'm going to do is use this little trick. To find the x-intercept, I'm simply going to replace the letter y with a 0 and solve for x. That is my strategy. Let's see if we can do this here. I'm going to bring the equation down here, and to find the x-intercept, just simply replace the y with 0. So 0 equals 3 times 0 plus 9 minus 2x. 0 is equal to 3 times 0 is 0 plus 9 minus 2x. I'm going to get the 9 over here, make it -9. And I'm going to divide, and I get 9 over 2, which is 4.5. So x equals 4.5. I'm going to put that in a nice ordered pair format. The x-intercept is 4.5, 0. So that's the value of the function when y is equal to 0. We literally replace the y with 0. Alright, if you want to, you can even just kind of get rid of the y term. Just kind of cover it up. I'm going to do that in white. Just kind of cover it up. Right? Really simple stuff. And then solve for x. So 4.5, 0, let's put that on the graph. 4.5, 0 is over here. So that's our x-intercept. 9 over 2, 0. Alright, to find the y-intercept, you can of course get it into slope-intercept form if you want, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to simply, to find the y-intercept, I'm simply going to replace the x with 0 and solve for y. So here we go. When we replace the x with 0, we get 3y plus 9, and this kind of just disappears. -9 is equal to 3y. Y is equal to -9 over 3, which is -3. So put it in a nice ordered pair. The x-intercept is 0, -3. And I'll plot that down here. 0, -3. Notice on the x-intercept, the y is 0, and on the y-intercept the x is 0. Alright, and the reason for that, of course, excuse me, is because when you're at this vertical sort of location, you haven't gone left and right any. You haven't gone left and right any. So that's why your x is 0. And when you're at this horizontal location, you haven't gone up and down any. So your y is 0. Now, as you can see, it's pretty easy to connect these two dots. So I'm just going to do sort of a rough sketch right there. You're probably going to want to use your ruler for that, but you get the idea. It's a nice quick way to graph your linear equation without having to really bother with getting it into this familiar form. Number 2. Let's go a little bit faster here. The x-intercept. I'm going to replace the y with 0 and solve for x. I'm not even going to write the y. It just kind of disappears. And I will simply solve and simplify. Those are both sort of divisible by 3, looks like. So we've got 6 over negative 5, which is negative 1.2. So in ordered pair form, negative 1.2 comma 0. So I'm going to go left 1 point, let's see, this is 1.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so negative 1.2 would be right here. That's my x-intercept. And my y-intercept, of course, I'm going to want to, let me see if I can just move some of this stuff over. I'm going to want to simply replace my x with 0 and solve it. So I have 9y plus 18 equals 0. When you're finding the y-intercept, the x just kind of disappears. So I have 9y equals negative 18, y equals negative 2. So my ordered pair is 0 comma negative 2, which is all the way down here. So that's my y-intercept. And then of course you would just kind of connect the dots as best you can. It's a little bit tricky for me to do it on here. I don't have a ruler, but maybe if I straighten this out it might help me. Change the to a line. There we go. And I'll just kind of shape it in there. Not bad. And of course you want to put arrows in the ends. Moving on. Number 3. Let's go really fast here. X-intercept and y-intercept. I'm not even going to graph this one really. I'm going to put the dots on there, but I'm not going to graph it. So to find the x-intercept, you just get rid of the y. So I have negative x equals negative 4. X equals positive 4. So 4 comma 0. It's over here. The y-intercept, get rid of the x and solve it. 0, negative 2. It's down here. Just like that, you've got 2 points. You can connect them with a straight line and go from there. Number 4. This one already is telling you that x is negative 2. Just kind of have to memorize that. This is a vertical line. It has no slope. It's not even a function. So you just have to know that, you know, once you solve it for x, you can see that all the x's have to be negative 2. So this is negative 2. This is negative 2. Every time, every point right here is negative 2 comma something. The x's are all the same. That's a vertical line. And it graphs like that, just a little bit straighter hopefully. And that's just something you might want to just memorize. When you have x equal to any number, any constant, it's always vertical. And it's probably worth mentioning too that, you know, if it were just y by itself, y equals 1 is a horizontal line right here. That's y equals 1. All the y values are 1, regardless of what the x's are. And that slope is 0. So this slope does not exist. has no slope, whereas this slope does exist and it is 0. Just memorize those. Alright, last one. Let's go lightning fast. X-intercept, y-intercept. If you want some practice, pause it and try it yourself. But I'm going to find the x-intercept. I'm going to replace the y with 0. So 0 is equal to 2x minus 2/3. So 2/3 is equal to 2x. 2/3 divided by 2 is my x-intercept. 2/3 divided by 2. Keep it, switch it, flip it. So I get 1/3. Some fancy arithmetic there. To find the y-intercept, you replace x with 0. So 0 is equal to negative 2/3 minus 2/3 y. Positive 2/3 is equal to negative 2/3 y. So y is negative 1. So that goes down here, and my x-intercept is 1/3 comma 0. This is 0.5. That means this is 0.3, so I'm right in here somewhere. There you go. 11-minute video on x and y intercepts. Another kind of way to graph linear equations without having to get them into this format. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot. Make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching.